Elly De La Cruz is your future 2027 League MVP. Now, whether or not he is in a Cincinnati Reds uniform or a Los Angeles Dodgers uniform is to be determined, but I have no doubt in my mind that Elly De La Cruz has all the makings of a future MVP. And I feel like most people aren't talking about him. Now, don't get me wrong, he's definitely being talked about. He's definitely a highly promoted player by Major League Baseball on all accounts. But when the question comes up of name one player you'd build your team around for the next 10 years or whatever, I don't hear Elly's name come up as much as it should. Today, I want to talk about Elly De La Cruz and just how much I'm a fan of him. I love his game. He's very entertaining to watch, as many others share the same sentiment with me. And if you haven't watched enough Elly De La Cruz or Reds games, you should definitely tune in to Reds games just for Elly De La Cruz. Now, Elly De La Cruz is in his second season in the big leagues after debuting the 6th of June of last year versus the Los Angeles Dodgers at Great American Ballpark. Elly De La Cruz, I remember that game. He was a highly touted prospect coming up, but Cincinnati was super high on him. Yeah, he lived up to the billing that day. I remember, I think he had a double that day. Maybe he had a home run or something like that, but he definitely had a good debut and a good series against the Dodgers in this call-up. And, it's expected as a Dodger fan. Everybody does well against the Dodgers more times than not, a couple of games, but you could definitely see all the makings of a potential superstar, a franchise player for the Reds, and that carried on all of last season for the Reds and Elly De La Cruz. Elly De La Cruz got off to a phenomenal start. Don't get me wrong, he got off to a phenomenal start, but he did tail off towards the end of the season, playing in 98 games in 2023, scoring 67 runs, tacking along 91 hits. He had 15 doubles, 7 triples, 13 home runs, 44 ribbies, 35 stolen bases. We'll get to the stolen bases part. 35 walks, 144 strikeouts, which is glaring at me as I'm reading this. A 235 batting average, and like I said, he started off really hot. He was like at 300 for a good month or maybe even 2, but he really did tail off once the big league pitching started to figure him out. It's up to big league hitters to make that adjustment, otherwise you're going to be back in the minor leagues. He had an on base of 300, a slugging of 410, and an OPS of 710. So Elly De La Cruz in his first season, a pretty good first season for Elly De La Cruz. Saw a lot of potential there with Elly De La Cruz. Again, he did fall off towards the end, but you saw some fantastic plays, some electric plays from Elly De La Cruz, some plays that we don't really see often. He showed the potential to steal bags. He has a lightning fast speed. He had 7 triples in 98 games. 13 home runs in 98 games. Is also on pace for at least a 20 home run season. We saw him steal home plate in 2023 as well. So he was making airwaves. He was a very sensational player. And coming into 2024, the Reds had a decent season last year where Elly De La Cruz being called up, missed the postseason by a few games. Looking to get back into the postseason for Elly De La Cruz to build on his phenomenal rookie season. And he's doing just that. I drafted Elly De La Cruz in my fantasy team. Second pick, I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. I was pretty nervous by drafting him second. I'm like, okay, well, is this going to work out? But when drafting a player like Elly De La Cruz second, you want that high upside with a player like Elly De La Cruz because you know he's going to boom or bust. And if he does boom and he does live up to the potential, he's going to be a phenomenal player for your fantasy team and for the Reds as well. In 2024, played so far 44 games for 35 runs, 43 hits, 8 doubles, 1 triple. So only 1 triple so far. I suspect he'll get more triples as the summer months come along. 9 home runs in 44 games. He might hit 30 home runs this season. 22 ribbies with 30 stolen bases. 30 stolen bases in 44 games. Now, to put that into context, we saw Ronald Acuna Jr. last year, still 73 bags, I think it was, for the Braves in 160-something games. Elly De La Cruz has 30 in 44. So, yeah, we thought what Ronald did was pretty insane. Yeah, Elly De La Cruz is going to blow by him, barring something unfortunate. Elly De La Cruz is on pace for 110 stolen bases. Now, whether it gets to exactly 110, I don't know, but at least 100 stolen bags at this rate. I mean, he's going to get there rather easily, I would suspect. Anytime he's on base, he's a stolen base threat. Anytime he's on base, you know he's going, and there's nothing the pitcher can do about it, or even the catcher for that matter. The stolen base renaissance is really fun to watch, and guys like Elly are captivating that stolen base renaissance. 22 walks, 55 strikeouts, so like last season, he's striking out a lot, so I suspect as his career goes along, he will cut down on the K rate. Strikeouts are going to be a problem for Elly, but I think he'll get better with more plate discipline, and that'll only help him getting on base more and stealing more bags. But He is on pace for 200 strikeouts. Whether or not he gets there, I don't know. He does have a strikeout problem. He is a switch hitter. He's definitely better from the left side than the right side. So far in 2024, he has a 277 batting average, which is pretty good. If he could stay right around there, improve that by a few more points, I think it'll be great. With an on base of 378, slugging of 516, OPS of 894. So far for me, he's playing like an MVP player. Whether or not he wins the MVP of the season, probably not. There's a guy named Shohei Ohtani and a guy named Mookie Betts on the Dodgers that probably are going to win the MVP, but nonetheless, Elly De La Cruz for me is definitely the conversation, and he's a fun player to watch. He's going to be a fun player to watch for a very long time. And talking about LA as a city, you know what? Just like that, he gained a lot of Dodger fans' attention with those comments. Of course, Elly De La Cruz, first time in US was in Los Angeles, so he has a lot of love for the city, also playing GTA. Those comments only made me like him that much more, and you know, the Dodgers are lacking superstars. We could use another superstar here. So Elly De La Cruz, the shortstop. Mookie will not be playing shortstop for a very long time, so Elly De La Cruz, come on over to LA and you can be our shortstop for the next 10 years or whatever. All jokes aside, Reds fans have a good one in Elly De La Cruz, and the Reds are also going through a long playoff drought, looking to get back into the postseason, play some playoff games at Great American Ballpark, and hoping Elly De La Cruz is the guy to lead them there.